Welcome. We finally got this Facebook Live going. There's a few little danger moments there where we had a little bit of a hiccup with Facebook and our friends of Science in Medicine. Not too keen for this to go ahead, but welcome to my number 6 Facebook Live. It's actually the 1st of August, and that's the horse's birthday. And to all those horses out there, I hope you're getting a good munch of grass. So we'll get stuck right into the cherry-picking Friends of Science in Medicine tonight, and following on from last week's Facebook Live, which was interesting. That was called "Are the Friends of Science in Bed with the NHMRC?" Now, for those not familiar with the NHMRC, we've just spent 5 days with them at different forums. It's the National Health and Medical Research Council. Now, they're responsible for spending just short of $900 million a year on medical research, and they're revamping their 15-year program. And they've got a lot of different committees, and they did 2 very negative reports about natural therapies last year. And we will be having another one of these Facebook Lives, and I'm sure Dr. John Cunningham and all his friends will be tuning in, because we're going to examine all the Friends of Science in Medicine that sat on those committees. Yes, and also we might have a very close look at all the grants that have been given out, and just have a close look and try and understand that a little bit better. And I'm sure there'll be some spirited thoughts about that. So here we go. There's 3 simple rules that Friends of Science in Medicine follow, and this is how I got into an exchange of emails with Dr. John Cunningham last week, who would be, I guess, the spiritual leader of the Friends of Science, and that's apologising to Professor John Dwyer, has done a great job getting the Friends off and running as the co-founder. Now, just for those that are not familiar, Graham Little is my name. Nee Peter Pope, my birth name when I was later adopted. I'm a health politics advocate, and I've been fighting the Friends of Science for nearly 5 years now, so I'm well aware of their tactics, and I'm learning more every week, including tonight. I'm a part-time lawyer, hoping one day to become a full-time lawyer, addressing fighting pharma corruption. Actually, that'd be nice. It's my website you can have a look at, www.fightpharmacorruption.com. It'll probably be brought down soon, no doubt. Hello to any new viewers, particularly any of Dr. John Cunningham's that he's invited too. So good to see you along. And after a very busy month, I'm going to create a guide like the fire danger in the summer. Where are we at in terms of corruption warnings? I've got a very extreme high corruption warning this month. Now, what did happen between Dr. John Cunningham and I, which led to me posting the first event, which I better not say exactly what it was. It was just Dr. John Cunningham and an obnoxious something. In actual fact, at the start of our exchange, and there probably would have been about 15 or 16 emails on LinkedIn. They'll be on a post later tonight, and you can get to read them all. But essentially, I said at the start to John, the only certain thing I get communicating with every single friend to date is the same. Number 1, you are all under instruction to refuse point blank to discuss any Cochrane collaboration review in relation to orthodox medicine. Rule number 1 to be a friend. Number 2, you always insult the person who raises the scientific evidence of the highest standard, namely Cochrane, in relation to medical interventions in the friend's backyard. And then 3, you either are silent or you refuse any public debate. So that's what I said at the start. Many emails later, and probably 3 or 4 days, John then said to me, finally, what in language a little bit more colourful, I'd love to, really I would. It's such a simple concept too, but you come across as an obnoxious P-R-I ... and I have no desire to correct your mistaken ideas one bit. Sorry. And so John left it there. If I go through the website of Friends of Science in Medicine. It's pretty important. If you're a natural therapy practitioner, there's a good chance if you're registered with AHPRA, you've already received one complaint from John's mates, probably Dr. Ken Harvey and his 2 PhD students at La Trobe. But if you're one of the natural therapies that they're just getting around to, you better tune in, because the mantra of the Friends of Science in Medicine on their own website is to make Australian health treatments accountable to the highest standards of evidence-based science. Now, the problem is they have said on their website that if this growing reviews done by this independent Cochrane collaboration show that your treatments are not up to scratch, then they say these treatments should be discarded, wait for it, whether they're part of the natural therapies or indeed part of conventional medicine. So they're quite specific on their own website. Unfortunately, they haven't yet applied any of these doctrines in their own backyard. I did ask some other questions of Dr. Cunningham. What were the vested interests in pharmaceutical companies, for example? Do you support the executive's decision to remain secret about their vested interests in pharmaceutical companies? It's strange. If you want to have a look at the disclaimer, I'll put that in the post I'm about to do. And I concluded by saying, by the end of this month, I expect to reach a 95% confidence level, confirming my first 3 statements that I've said before, with up to 100 of the Friends of Science to be canvassed. So let's just see whether the rather disappointing exchange I had with Dr. Cunningham comes to fruition with the other members. I've already had the same issue with Professor John Dwyer and Loretta Marin. We've already tried with Professor Helen Marshall, who's one of the key friends at the University of Adelaide. Didn't want to talk about Cochrane collaboration, doesn't want to answer any emails, but was quite happy to give a public forum to all the pregnant women, saying it's proven and safe vaccination over there, but didn't refer to the Cochrane collaboration, which puts some serious issues in the face of vaccines for influenza. So many friends to date have been reluctant to get into this argument with Cochrane, but guess what they did to the Chinese medicine? Yes, no problem at all. Last month they are happy to write to the June actually, happy to write to the chairman actually of the Chinese Medicine Board, part of the APRA health regulation system for all those Chinese practitioners, and they quoted the Cochrane collaboration review there. Yes, they did, and they're following the same strategy, what they're doing with the chiropractors. They've said not enough Cochrane for acupuncture for treating children, so they're trying to shut down Chinese medicine for children. So they want all the children to go, guess where? Not to chiros and Chinese practitioners, more and more GPs. So let's have a look in the future Facebook Live, some more Cochranes. I've got about 9,000 odd to go through. I've probably done about 40 so far draft posts on LinkedIn, which I haven't published, so there's a lot of information for our friends, and it's going to be an interesting time, and hopefully one friend may actually address Cochrane for mainstream medicine. That's my quest. I will probably be an obnoxious person as far as the friends are concerned until somebody actually does. So I just was going to talk about JC Big Ears, but I think we might leave that to another post. It's going to be a good post, and JC Big Ears has been quite active on social media. I'm getting a lot of thumbs up here to have a bit of a crack, but I think we might save that for tomorrow, because guess what's going to happen tomorrow? I'm actually live on the TV. This is a true story. I actually need a contestant in Eddie Maguire's Millionaire hot seat. So I actually want to put a lot of the Friends of Science on the hot seat, but I'm actually in the hot seat tomorrow night. So I suggest any of you friends want to see me in the hot seat, tune in at 5:15 tomorrow. I think it starts. It might be different times in other states. And I'm one of the 6 contestants, and it's a good laugh. I can tell you I didn't win the million, but we might have a Facebook Live immediately after Eddie's hot seat. And tomorrow's feature will be Professor John Dwyer and how he managed to ignore the Cochrane collaboration when he didn't like me blogging about rubella. Yes, let's have a quick look at that tomorrow after Eddie finishes. That'll probably be 6 o'clock, and we'll see how I go. And the battle with the Friends of Science will continue. And full marks to Johnny Cunningham there, getting a 1 strike to me. I've had 1 strike at Facebook, so I've only got 2 more left, and I can't appear via Facebook Live, so they'll be trying very hard to get me censored, won't you, John? I'm sure you will. And I got censored in the VCAT case too. You know that too, don't you? So 66 days in VCAT, and my final closing submission was totally censored, never got into the judgment, just said, you've missed the point. So I didn't actually miss the point in that VCAT case, supposed to be the test case, Chiro Board v Hooper. I didn't miss it at all. All experts were ignored completely in that case. Not a bad effort. Not a bad effort. You can be deregistered if the 6 experts in hyperbaric oxygen were all ignored in the 7 patient complaints, and my entire submission, which pointed that out, was also totally ignored. So censorship's a wonderful thing, and it suits a lot of people, but in the end, the man in the street gets a little bit sick of it, and hopefully we'll be shedding some more light on the activities of the Friends in the post to come. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Bye now.